It just got real for the Vancouver Canucks as Quinn Hughes spoke in an interview today, revealing key details on his future with the Vancouver Canucks and going as far as not saying yes when directly asked, do we have a chance to retain this guy? We're going to break down these quotes from Quinn Hughes, going as far as speaking on his brother's comments, Jack Hughes, yesterday, that we've seen circulating the media, and so many more quotes that have huge implications on this Canucks team moving forward. We're going to break down all this and so much more later on this episode. Before we get into that, if you're part of the 57.5% watching this and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, I just want to first give a shout out to everyone watching this. But if you want to stay up to date on everything to do around the Vancouver Canucks, like quotes from the captain, prospect updates as we have the showcase coming up this weekend, trades, rumors, reports, anything you can think of, you can catch right here on Canucks Digest. So go ahead and hit that free subscribe button. It means the world. But with that today, let's just hop straight into it. Where we know yesterday, Jack Hughes spoke to the media and sent the Canucks Twitterverse into a bit of a frenzy. I mean, if you're looking anywhere on social media, you can see Jack Hughes at some point, I want to play with Quinn. This really sent everyone, including the media, into a bit of a spiral. Now, Quinn Hughes spoke on a lot of this, and the first thing that he did say, on if he was surprised about the chatter about his future 2 years out from being a UFA and Jack's comments. Quinn goes in to say, yes and no. Obviously, Jack wasn't the first one to bring it up, in fairness to him. Now, if you go back to April 21st, this year, we've seen some quotes coming from Jim Rutherford that it seems like that Quinn was alluding to when saying this. Going into the comment that we've seen Jim say, he said before he wants to play with his brothers, and that would be partly out of our control. In our control if we brought his brothers here. It is very well known around the NHL from Jack's comments, from the next comment, by Quinn that we're going to get into. But the big thing is, everyone knows all three Hughes bros in Luke, Jack, and Quinn want to eventually, or think it would be a very cool thing to do if all three played together. This spun into Jim Rutherford going out to say, hey, why don't we acquire both Hughes bros? This led to the comments of Jack going out to say, at some point, I want to play with Quinn. Listen, we did a full video on this yesterday as well. But the big thing is, Quinn Hughes goes into this and kind of does damage control on Jack's comments to say, I don't even think it's a big deal. What was he supposed to say? That he doesn't want to play with me? Like, he's not going to say that. But I would love to play with both of them. It would be very cool. Now, seeing this from the outside, it does get a little scary when you know that Quinn is going to become a UFA in 2 years. We know Luke Hughes is an RFA, still not signed, which we will touch on. And Jack has 5 years left on his deal. When looking at that, everything points towards maybe Quinn leaving, but I do truly believe, and I'll get into exactly why this seems the most realistic route, that Quinn is going to end up in Vancouver, and there's a chance that maybe the brothers do come here in years from now. Now, the big thing is Quinn goes in, and this was an interview by Elliot Friedman and Kyle Bukauskas on 32 Thoughts, and this will be linked down below. But when asked directly the question weighing on Canucks fans' minds, do we have a chance to keep this guy? Quinn said some nice words. None of them were yes. I mean, I've really enjoyed Vancouver. I'm very thankful. When I came to Vancouver, I don't think I ever thought I was going to become what I've become. That's happened because of the people in Vancouver, management, coaching. I've had a great relationship with Bruce and Rick. This is Quinn Hughes speaking on how he feels that the entire Canucks organization, from Rick Tocchet all the way to Bruce, helped him develop into not one of only the best players in the Canucks organization or of all time, but one of the best defensemen in NHL history and in the league currently. This is the Norris candidate. We don't need to go out here and preach to the choir on how good Quinn Hughes is, but he does truly believe that he thanks the organization for getting him here. But it does scare me when none of them were yes. But the big thing is, looking around the league, we're seeing a lot of superstar talent. Kirill Kaprizov reportedly rejected a $16 million deal on an 8-year extension today. We've seen the comments from Connor McDavid where he said no term, short term, long term on his current contract negotiations. A lot of players are waiting. Right now, with the new CBA coming in, these prices are going to go through the roof. We're seeing year after year about 10 mil added each season onto the cap. Star players are waiting to not only see what teams are competitive, but to see what the market's like. Now, this is a little different where we see a lot of these guys in the final years, but the big thing is Quinn Hughes not only has this year, but next year on his contract before it expires. Now, going further into this, Quinn spoke I'm really looking forward to this year in Vancouver, just because I feel like it's a challenge to see if he can have a successful year and make a successful organization, which I think we can do, and I'm looking forward to that challenge. One thing I truly do believe is Quinn Hughes wants to be on a competitive team that's going to push for a Stanley Cup. And I think it does fall back onto management to really continue building the strong core that can make deep runs or push for contending for the cup in order to retain Quinn Hughes on this roster. Quinn has made it very clear, and we did a video on this just a few days ago, speaking on how he wants to be competitive. He's a competitive nature. He wants to go out and compete for a Stanley Cup every single night. This season hinges on a lot. If the Canucks come out flat-footed, noise starts around this locker room, the team starts to struggle, there's a strong chance that Quinn looks and says, hey, why don't I take my talents elsewhere where I can win a Stanley Cup? Though I do think the Canucks are going to have a bounce-back season. Bringing in a Vander Kane, getting Petey back at full potential, a healthy Filip Hronek, a healthy Demko, a healthy Quinn Hughes. This team dealt with so many injuries, and when healthy, they're going to continue being competitive, make a push, and I mean, they were out by what, 6 to 10 points last season on making it into the wild card. When the team is healthy and fully going, they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to be a team that competes game after game in the playoffs to hopefully go on a deep run. But this season hinges on a lot. The Canucks need to not only come out to a hot start this season to avoid any distractions, noise, or criticism coming from the media, but they also need to consistently do this over the next 2 years to prove to not only Quinn Hughes, the media, the coaching staff, the management, that they're going to compete and that they want to bring in even more talents. Now, Quinn goes to say management kind of give me the keys to the kingdom a couple of years ago. I'm very grateful. As far as this year, I just feel like the last year was a failure, and I want to propel my game even further, propel my teammates even further, see what we can do. Now, Quinn does speak on two teammates in Brock Boeser and Elias Pettersson in this, going in to say that he was happy that Brock stayed. Brock wanted to be a Canuck for life. His girlfriend or wife is from here, that he loves the city, but at one point, they both felt that Brock would not come back. He goes in to speak on Pettersson, going in to say that he's going to have a bounce back, that he didn't care if he came in 5 pounds lighter, 5 points heavier. He is a competitive spirit, and he wants to go on a deep run. But Canucks fans, it does get interesting. Listen, there's 2 years left of Quinn Hughes. The Canucks could go win a Stanley Cup. Quinn could sign the extension on July 1st, and this doesn't matter. But the big thing hinges, and it really leans back onto Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes. Now with Luke having no contract signed at the current moment with the New Jersey Devils, a lot of reports are coming out that the Devils want to go long-term. A lot of teams want to lock up players on an 8-year deal before this is exiled pretty much by the CBA and they'll not be able to sign. But all signs are pointing towards Luke Hughes signing a mid-bridge type deal. Now, if he goes out to sign a deal that lines up with Jack, that is 5 years left on his deal, this is really going to spin a different narrative. If we see Quinn Hughes sign a contract, and this is complete speculation, but if we see Jack sign a 5-year deal with the New Jersey Devils, 5 years left to Jack, and Quinn comes back on a 4-year deal or 3-year deal, whatever it lines up to be, there's a strong chance that the Canucks go out to retain all three. Now listen, this is going to cost a pretty penny. Seeing Jack coming in on his extension is going to cost quite a bit. Jack Hughes on a contract when the Caps jumped up almost 60 mil is going to be even bigger, but the Canucks have the opportunity to not lose out on their forward, keep a competitive roster, and with Quinn's comments, yes, there is some scary stuff. Seeing the comments off as soon as I can find it, that none of them were yes, but he goes out to speak on how much he loves the city, how much he loves his teammate, how much he wants to make sure this year is not a failure. And I think it is up to the Vancouver Canucks as a team, with the management and coaching included, to make sure the season is competitive and keeps Quinn wanting to stay in Vancouver. But Canucks fans, what is your thoughts on this? First off, what was your thoughts on Jack Hughes' comments? What's your thoughts on all the comments from Quinn? Are you a little worried by seeing some of this? Do you think it perfectly lines up to what you expected Quinn to say? about everything in the interview. Let us know down below. And speaking of comments, let's get straight into comments today. And we got a two-parter coming from the Vancouver Canucks. And listen, that'd be awesome if it was the real team. But the big thing is, I'm ecstatic to see Petey play again. I can hope he can throw some hits, be physical for the puck, and get back on his groove. And then you can see great positive vibes. Listen, keeping the vibes around this Canucks team positive is hard to do sometimes. We know this team was not very good last year. They dealt with a lot of noise, but this team is someone that we decided to cheer for. We all decided to be Canucks fans, so why not be positive? Enjoy the games. Enjoy watching this team. Spread as much positive. Go ahead and leave your biggest positive comments on this Canucks team going into next year. Leave that all down below because we love reading through it. But while you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friend. We'll be back in another episode, so keep your eye out for that. But I've been your host, Mark Bye, and take care, Canucks fans.